I'm Dave, you're watching Dave's Taste Buds, and welcome back. You have no idea how
especially psyched
I am to finally be starting to record this episode. It's gonna be delicious, I can't wait. It's cold up here in Massachusetts. Don't let the bright sunshine and the cracked open windows fool you. It's cold. Tomorrow's gonna be nasty and miserable, and I can't wait to have this tomorrow when it's cold. So I just wanna thank you. I wanna thank you for being here. I wanna thank you for being a fan, and I certainly wanna thank you for clicking that subscribe button. Trying to grow this, trying to get my content out to more people, trying to show people different, new, exciting recipes. So let's get into it. Today, this is a great one. My two favorite things in the world, chili and cornbread.
Those are actually pretty great.
We're gonna get into it. Like I said, first thing you wanna do is you're gonna wanna make your basic chili. I've already cooked off this ground beef. I've already diced up my peppers, onions, and jalapenos. Now, chili, it can be made 100 ways. Up here in New England, we add beans. I know down south, other parts of the country, it's no beans. It's whatever you wanna do, you make it the way you like it. This is kind of my recipe for it, especially when I'm gonna be mixing it into this casserole. So it's basic stuff. Heat up your pan, little oil, obviously. Now, I might have gone overboard with how many peppers and onions and everything I chopped up, but like I said, I was messing around with reels, so I don't know, I might have made too many. I'm gonna get this pan a little bit hot. We're just gonna throw these in here. I like to, not everybody does this, but I like to cook off my vegetables a little bit first. I think it adds a different flavor. I think it adds, you know, just a little more, I don't want to say pizzazz.
Don't ever say that again to anybody, ever.
But I just like the flavor that it adds when you cook it down. It pulls more flavor out of the vegetables. That's how, I don't know, that's how I feel. You know, that's how I do it. We're gonna let these cook down. While we're doing that, cook our vegetables down. We're gonna add our ground beef. I'm gonna get it hot. I'm gonna add a can of kitchen ready pastine. I always use pastine. It's good. I've always used it. I like it. I'm using some red kidney beans today, Progresso. Basic chili seasoning mix. Again, a lot of different recipes for chili as far as the seasoning go. I like to make my own seasoning. Obviously, it's got paprika, chili powder. I like a little cumin in there. I like garlic powder. I like onion powder. If I can get dehydrated onions, I put a pinch of that in there. If you want to turn it up a notch, put a little cayenne in there with it. You make it how you like it. So like I said, just took a little bit of heat to these. I'm gonna put a little bit more oil so I can really kind of get it going. I'm gonna let these cook down a couple minutes. See, this is how I think. I already had the immediate thought, okay, while this is doing that, why don't I start on putting the cornbread mixture together? Now, you can buy a box of that, I think it's called Jiffy cornbread mix. It's good, it's delicious, but I just wanted to try this a little bit more from scratch. If you want to grab a box of that stuff, whip it up with, I think it's eggs and oil added to it, maybe a little bit of milk. I'm not here to judge. If you want to cut corners, I don't care if you take well, I shouldn't say that. I personally wouldn't take a can of like Hormel chili and then some cornbread mix, make them separately, dump it together.
What?
If you're in a pinch, if you're in a bind, if you need it fast, you can do that. You can start with Hormel chili, maybe, and doctor it up a little bit, make it how you like it. I don't know, that would be on you. Certain things that I don't like to get out of a can. Chili's one of them. Unless I'm in a real pinch and I'm just craving like a chili dog or something like that, maybe. Or, last minute I decide I'm gonna make nachos and I just wanna dump chili on top, bust it open a can, heat it up, dump it on top. You could do that. Again, do what you want. Peppers, red and green, onions, jalapeno. Another thing, I like to just bring the flavor of that jalapeno right out by heating it up. This is a pound of ground beef, already cooked and drained. I'm gonna throw that right in there. Still getting used to these new lavalier microphones. Went to turn around and I thought to myself, do I have a cord attached to me? What's going on here? This is getting hot. I'm gonna stir that in a tiny bit. Crushed tomatoes right in there. Now, another thing I might do with my chili sometimes is I'll add a little bit of beef stock to it, kind of thin it out a little bit. But this one we're gonna try, throw like some kidney beans in there. I don't know, it kind of seems like a lot for this recipe, so we're gonna set that aside. So now we got just about everything in here. We just wanna kind of give it a quick stir. I'm gonna mix that up. Now, if you notice, this is much thicker than your typical chili recipe. And a big part of that is because we're going to be layering this on top of some cornbread mix. And you just don't want it too thin. If it's too thin, it's gonna run all over the place. It's gonna be not as good. You know what, let's get these peppers out of the way too while we're at it. Now, a little seasoning. Is it a little overboard? Probably. When it comes to seasoning, I mean, I personally love bold, intense flavors. So if it's calling for, 2 tablespoons of whatever, if it's a seasoning, I'm probably gonna double that. It's just who I am. It's just how I am. Keep it in the pan, Dave. Keep it in the pan. Comment below on what you do to your chili, how you make it. Beans, no beans, cook the vegetables, however you do it. I want to know, and I like to personally reply to comments myself, and I try to do it as fast as I can. If you've checked out how many subscribers I have, you know that I obviously have a full-time job on top of this. So I do the best I can to get episodes taped and out there and reply to comments. Now, this recipe actually called for, because you want it a little thicker, it calls for some cornstarch. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even sure I need it. I mean, I know it's gonna cook down. I'm gonna move this over to my stove, kind of let it simmer. So I'm just gonna add, I think it called for, that looks like a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. I'm just gonna put a little in there. Just while it simmers, it'll thicken up. And we will check it out. I mean, guys, that's it. When it comes to the chili, the basics, you're looking at it. So like I said, I am gonna shift this over to my stovetop. I'm gonna let it simmer down a little bit. I'm gonna grab everything, I'm gonna pull it out, and then we're gonna get right into the cornbread. So sit tight. All right, we're back. Told you it'll be a second. Got my chili on the stove, simmering, so you'll have to excuse me if I have to run over there, give it a quick stir. I don't want it to burn on the bottom, certainly not. So let's get into the cornbread. Again, if you wanna make a mix, make a mix. But I did find a really cool recipe that actually has sweet cream corn too. I don't know, I've never used it before, but I'm gonna check it out. Big bowl, dry ingredients. Obviously, this is a 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of cornmeal, just where your cornbread comes from. We got, I believe this is quite a bit of sugar. I think it's 3 tablespoons. And I believe this is 2. Recipe will be in the link in the description below. But I think it's 2 tablespoons. So, dry ingredients, you just want to give them a whisk, because you're really going to want to make sure you incorporate that. You want to spread out that baking powder. You want to make sure that's all incorporated in there. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Could use a hand mixer. You could even use a stand mixer if you were making a big old batch of cornbread. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Good, there we go. Let's get that nice and incorporated. As you know, anything comes with baking. You got your dry ingredients and you got your wet ingredients. Dry is all set. Wet ingredients, 2 eggs. Very nice. I believe this is 3/4 of a cup of milk. Again, double check. Got 2 tablespoons, I believe.
Sure about that?
Vegetable oil, canola oil. Eggs, milk, oil. We're just gonna give this a quick whisk. Huh? What do you think about these bowls? These are like 1950s old school Pyrex bowls. They used to belong to my mother-in-law. They ended up, thankfully, in my house and not getting destroyed because you just can't beat the old school. Glass is always falling off. I considered wearing a hat today. I mean, got a little thinning through here, and every time I do my footage with my other cameras, I'm like, dude, you are losing your hair. What are you doing? I almost wore a hat, but you know what else? I run so hot, I can't even afford to keep a hat on. We're gonna let that stay on the side. We are gonna slowly add, told you, give me a second. We are not gonna burn our chili. We are not. We are not. I wanna take a second too to thank Oliver and Brady, my 2 dogs. They're in the other room, staying quiet on a nice sunny day, which is nice because they bark at every single thing that walks by or runs by or drives by. They've been nice and quiet today. So we're gonna slowly incorporate our wet ingredients into our dry ingredients. I'm going to start putting out more baking content. As much as I don't like baking, I just flour and it just gets everywhere. It's hard to clean, it's messy, it's such an exact science. It's, you know, it's something you gotta do. I didn't go to baking school, I went to culinary school. It's a little more leeway in culinary school with cooking with what you want to do. You can mix up ingredients. You can always do that with baking too, but there's certain things that have to stay. Sorry about all that banging. That's enough of the whisk. Let's get out our spatula, give it a little fold. I'm just gonna fold this right in here. Oven has been preheated at 375. I forgot to preheat the oven. Come on! All this thought I put into this whole thing and I never turned the oven back on. It'll heat up. It'll heat up. Cornbread mix. This is a 8 and a little ounce Cayenne cream corn. Again, never done this before. And because one of the reasons this has to do with chili coinciding with this, I got some shredded cheddar. I'm gonna put that right in there. I'm gonna mix that in. In fact, I could have cut up some jalapenos and throw those in here too. That would have been cool. I feel them slipping off my head. They're gonna fall into my cornbread mix. And that will be unacceptable. I'm a little concerned, since I added that sweet corn, that this looks a little thin. I was hoping it would set up a little bit, considering we're gonna have to layer it, but we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how it goes. Let me grab. Boom. There we go. Cornbread mix, done. Chili, done. let's combine these two things together. Let's give it a shot. 9.5 by 13. We're gonna take half of our mixture and we're just gonna pour it right into the bottom. Make sure your pan is greased. If your pan is not greased, it's gonna stick. You don't want that. You don't want that. I wanna make sure I have enough at the top, but I wanna have a solid base at the same time. So I'm gonna spread this out to the corners. I have another video out there where I make my barbecue chicken chili, which is one of my favorites because if you can make barbecue anything, I'm down. Down, down, down. There we go. I think I'm gonna save that for the top. All right. All right, let's check it out. We're gonna gently just kind of air this right in there. We don't want it to stir. We don't want to stir it in. We don't want to mix it. We just want to kind of gently. Ooh, look at this. You're gonna treat it so nice. Look at that. Get it to the edge. We just want to layer it right on top without mixing it together. I want to treat it with care. I want to make sure that all of our cornbread mix is covered. Oh, got a little aggressive there. Little splash. That was a close one. Nice. Looking good. You know what this is going to be worth? You clicking that subscribe button. You can even turn on notifications. That way you know exactly when something comes out. All right, I think I'm good with this. I'm just going to, should we throw the rest of it on here? Let's throw the rest of it on here. Let's just do it. Still want to be gentle, but we're just going to pile it all right on here. Spread it out. Oh yeah, I think I like this. Perfect. Get this out of the way. Now, this may be even trickier than getting the chili layer on there, but we are just going to try. We're going to try to just, you know what? I'm thinking if I just go straight through the middle and then go out to the sides. Oh! Look at that. Oh, it's so cheesy. Now, obviously, I mean, it's cornbread, so it's gonna expand when it cooks. So we don't have to have a big, thick layer. I went a little bit thicker on the bottom just because you want it to have some kind of support when we pull it out. And once this is done, this is not gonna take, you see me touch it? Like I thought the pan might be hot. I'm just gonna try to give this some finesse. I kind of like that it's showing some chili on the sides. I think that's gonna look cool when it's done. We're putting a lot of weight on that bottom layer. Ah, I think I like it. I think I like it. Now, it's done. I still need to give that another 43 degrees to heat up. So I am going to let you take what I call a blink break. I just made that up. By the time you blink, this will be in the oven and coming back out. So during this transition, blink. All right, we're back. Chili, cornbread, casserole, out of the oven. Let it sit 10 minutes, let it kind of tighten up a little bit, and it looks great. Huh? It's got a nice sound to the top. so we know it's cooked. It's not overcooked. It's not even brown on the edges. I like the way it's showing a little bit of chili around the side. So let's just, you know what? Let's get more into the middle a little bit. Let's take a piece out and check it out. Come on. Oh yeah. Yep. That's it. Good. Little bit of sour cream. Right on the corner. Looking good. Little parsley on top. Oh, yeah. What are we talking about, huh? What are we talking about? Let's get this out of here. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm hoping I'm getting a good shot of that. I'll get a good shot of it anyway, but yeah, that's it. I mean, so easy, so good, so delicious, so dropping my fork. Let's taste it. Oh yeah, the cornbread at the bottom is cooked perfectly. Got chili on there. Ooh. Oh, it's delicious. It's delicious. Cornbread, chili, casserole, easy. Make it. I got a video up here you should check out. I got a bunch of videos down here you should check out. Don't forget to subscribe. And once you're done doing all that, go cook something.